Hello everybody and welcome to this episode of Political Progress, a series where we invite different municipal, provincial and federal politicians to come answer our questions. Today's guest is Geneviève Lajoie, the Mayoress of Casselman. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for being here again. To start with today's interviews, could you tell us what your plans are for Casselman in the next few months?
Right now, we're working on a few initiatives at the community engagement level. So we are working on the community garden. So we put forward a motion to have passed at council tomorrow to allow us to access the funding from the counties, the $50,000, so that we could have the garden implemented next year. Tomorrow, I'm also presenting a motion to council regarding the new development on Fontaine Street. Right now, there's only one street coming in and out. And so if ever there was an accident or a street closure, emergency services wouldn't be able to access the community. So I would like to have the rail crossing opened on the other side of the community so that there's two accesses. So we'll see if council passes those. We're still working on the bird walking path. I have a meeting for that shortly. And I've been meeting a lot with public members. So I think people are, the word's getting out more that I truly do have an open door policy and it actually exists. And so more people have been popping in and giving me some feedback and some ideas. I met with one today before this interview and we left with a page full of ideas and it's excellent. So also with the Voices of Casselman, we're still continuing those and lots of community engagement happening in Casselman.
Well, that's great. And was the community garden a member of the public's idea, or is that something you came up with?
Well, it was like a dream that I had because it came from door-to-door campaigning. And quite a few people mentioned that in my campaign. And so I just thought that would be an excellent idea. I never thought of it. So at the Community Engagement Committee, a horticulture club was developed, and the leader of that club and the co-leader both wanted a community garden. So it's just fascinating how it just kind of lined up like that. So they've been taking the lead on this project.
Yeah, and how much funding do you estimate it'll cost to build the community garden?
Well, for infrastructure, it'll be roughly $50,000. Well, it will be $50,000, and that's including raised beds so that we could have gardens and a slab to put a gazebo as well as the gazebo.
Wow.
Yeah, and
big
bird
project.
baths. Oh yeah, it's excellent. And little walking paths, and we'll have special perennials to attract certain birds and certain butterflies, and it's just going to be such a beautiful project.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And also recently, there's been the announcement that applications are open for the community recognition.
Isn't that excellent?
Yeah, where does that idea come, where does it come from?
Well, it's my passion because I find there's a disconnect between politicians and people. And my goal is to really connect that together and really make politics in Casselman about the people and have the people's voice front and center of everything that, I do. So the Community Engagement Committee was an extension of another idea I had, which would be to create a huge volunteer base in Casselman that would help feed local organizations and also do their own initiatives as well. And community engagement needs recognition as well, right? And it's just a little incentive for people to want to come out and for me to be able to recognize them and celebrate them is an honor.
Well, yeah, that's great, and that'll definitely encourage more people to step up and participate, as you mentioned. And what are the requirements, I guess, to be recognized by the community?
Basically, you're engaged in the community. I'm not very picky about how people are picked. I think something as simple as picking up litter on the side of the road and somebody wants to recognize that person, I think that qualifies because essentially it's every little piece of the puzzle that comes together that creates something big and beautiful. So I think even the smallest things need to be recognized so that it creates a ripple effect and this movement of positivity and engagement.
And how will the people be recognized?
Well, there's different parts of the recognition program. You could have the key of the city, which we've already given to Deanne, and we could. There's certificates that I create. There's a whole bunch of different. We're going to have in the new municipality. We'll have a wall, and it'll have all the names of the community members that have been chosen. So it'll be pretty dynamic. Hopefully we'll be able to have volunteer benefit suppers as well. That's another dream of mine. So I'm hoping I'll be able to have the first one next year.
Yeah, well, that would be great. That would really put the community together and, like you said, give that incentive for people to participate.
Yeah.
And also, could you give us an update on what's the situation with the building the infrastructure for Casselman's water?
Well, there's no update. Honestly, it's from the last meeting that we had, we're still waiting for the province to respond back to an email that I sent them to have that meeting with the infrastructure minister. I've reached out to our MPP, still waiting for him to get back to me. Basically, we need to meet these people so that we could iron out a plan and explore other possibilities. On the other side, I'm also trying to think of other ways, creative ways to solve our water problem, because say if this doesn't work out, but I'm going to believe that it will because you need to have positivity to keep moving forward. I want to be working in tandem on other ideas as well so that we're not stuck at any point in the road. So we'll always have other avenues that we could explore.
Yeah, and some people have expressed their concerns of being expropriated.
Right, the farmers.
Yeah.
There's not going to be an expropriation. I mean, the annexation is really, it's responsible governance for a municipality to ensure that there's land around their lagoons to secure the development of their town. I think it's it's a common sense approach. It's a logical decision. However, it's awful that so many people feel impacted by this, and the uncertainty that's being created, the fear of expropriation is there, and that's really not a good feeling for those people. I truly sympathize with them, and everything that they say, I feel they're justified in the way that they feel and the things that they say, because there's always, the pros and the cons of every issue. We are working with the firms, with our engineering firms, to make sure that we could discharge. We will discharge yearly. That's our goal. So the annexation is really just a cushion, in a sense. There's no plans on expropriation at this time at all.
Okay, well, that's good. Do you have anything you think you guys could do as a municipality to try to ease that uncertainty that people are experiencing?
Well, I put myself out there. My office is always open. If they want to come talk to me, I'm always open to talking to them, talking about their concerns, sympathizing with them. And I truly do, I don't like saying I understand their problem because I'm not in their shoes, and it's kind of insincere, but I could sympathize with them and I could see their position, and I don't think that their position's wrong in any way. This is just a decision that I made for the best interest of our community.
Yeah, because the last time we talked, the Trillium Foundation had given funds for the Paul-Émile Community Center. Do you have any updates on how those funds are coming to use?
Yeah, well, they're following through on all the projects, and there's work being done. I don't know when the completion date will be. I could take a look at that and find out. I know that the community is very excited about this, so yeah.
Yeah, and what are the renovations that are going to be made for those projects?
The floors, the doors, the automatic doors, the paint on the walls, just basically the whole shell, the inside shell will be completely revamped and refreshed.
Yeah, and do you have any plans to try to increase accessibility in Casselman?
I would love to increase accessibility. I've been speaking through Voices of Casselman. I met a senior lady, and she brought up those kind of issues. But not only that, but related to aging in Casselman and the barriers that they're faced with as they become more dependent on systems to help provide them with support. I will be working with them. The community member I spoke to today actually recommended and suggested that I reach out to Club 60 and kind of get a community formed of seniors, which was always something that was in my heart from the beginning.
Yeah.
And it was part of the committees that I wanted to create, and it was rolled into the Community Engagement Committee. But I think I will be reaching out to them and form kind of an advisory group for me to help me understand the needs for accessibility with seniors, and then working with other nonprofits like Regroupement Autism. They could provide a lot of good ideas. I know sensory issues are always they're not thought of. So
Yeah,
kind
they're
of having
overlooked.
like safe spaces in Casselman, and yeah.
Yeah, well, that's great. Those are all the questions I have for you today. Thank you so much for being
No
here.
problem. Thanks for having me.
And thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Political Progress. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel for more local news.